Welcome everybody to today's contributor spotlight for the Connected Spirit Connected Biz New Year's gift event. And today I've got with me Lorraine Lane, and so excited to have you back. I know we've done this one other time, but for those that aren't familiar with you and what you do, just briefly, like how did you get into your work? What's a little bit of your story? Because we love hearing stories.
Right. Well, my career started in the high-tech industry as an HR manager. And then the last 8 years that I was there, I was the training and development director for managers across the United States. So I did a lot of traveling, loved my job, expected that I would retire from there. Surprise, surprise. One Monday morning, my manager called me and said we'd all been laid off. So I hadn't a plan for that. So I tried to find a job, but it was really a big downturn in the economy, and I could not find a job. And I kept doing, freelance kind of things. And I was certified to do a particular kind of team building and was called by the Center of Creative Leadership to substitute for one of their trainers who was very sick. From that, it seemed like my business started taking a life of its own. And if anyone would have asked me, are you starting your own business? I would have said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not in the plan. So I've been in business for more than 20 years.
That's a good not in the plan. Yeah.
I think there was another divine plan at work.
Yeah.
So I do love what I do. I work with business owners and executives, teaching them how to be good managers, and for business owners, really asking the questions around who's your client, how are you reaching them, what's your messaging, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So I love doing that.
And that's so foundational, because if you don't know who you're talking to, you're just it's spaghetti on the wall, and we all kind of start out there because we don't know,
Right.
So it's like,
yeah, a lot of spaghetti. And
yep.
So what happens, Sherry, is that I find that my clients are messaging, but their messaging is about them, not about the client. So once you identify who your client is and what their real challenges are and what is your solution, things change. So I had to learn that. It's a big lesson for me.
I think everybody, and it can change quickly.
Yes,
it can change quickly.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And so if you don't keep asking yourself that question, who is my target market? And when I ask my clients that and their eyes roll, they play teenager. I know who my client is. I know it's all up here, and they can't tell me. So I know that is a foundational question that we need to answer. Who are you talking to?
So you kind of touched on this, just as we were talking. So at this point, I think you said you mainly work with executives. So it's almost like you have two divisions, right? Two different pieces to your services.
Right. You can have more than one target market, but you don't use the same message for each of those markets. So when I'm talking to executives, I'm talking messages that they will hear. When I'm talking to business owners, I'm talking what their challenges are, right?
Yeah, which is completely different.
And so then your messaging, your networking all changes, has a different focus once you identify who that market is.
And just to clarify, because this question had come up recently, I think the people that might be watching this, so many people are like so focused, at least in my world, are so focused on online. All of our stuff is online. Right. And the word networking, right? That comes up, and it kind of, there's all these preconceived ideas about networking. So would you define what's your definition of networking? Because I think that's going to help the people that are watching.
Okay. So when I started networking, I had no clue what I was doing. I just was told you have to network. And that was painful. I mean, just really painful. So in my book, I tell the story of how many tries it took me to get to my first networking event. It wasn't pretty. And you know, I hadn't read in the book how far enough about the 30-second introduction, so that was a disaster. But anyway, so I studied this phenomenon of networking and consequently wrote my book. And networking for me is identifying who your target market is and where do they hang out. So if you're going to networking events every week, but your market isn't there, you're wasting time and money. So if networking is a social thing for you, go for it. But for me, networking is building relationships, building business relationships with your target market or people who are connected to your target market who can refer you and open doors for business. So it's a business activity, right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this one woman who wanted help with her marketing. She was going to 10 networking events a week. I mean,
Oh my
think about the time investment. So I said to her, Lisa, how much business are you getting from this group, this group? Zero.
Oh,
But they're my friends. They're my friends. I said, Lisa, we've got to whittle this down to 2 a week. Now, she couldn't do it. And so I kind of fired her as a client. But within 6 months, she closed the doors because she had no business.
right,
Yeah, because she was making friends, but not business connections.
right.
So you have to be ruthless in how you look at this. And are you getting a return on your investment? If you're not getting a return on your investment of time and money, then you're going after the wrong thing or the wrong people.
Yeah.
So need to think that's why this definition of your target market is so important
Mm,
because it affects where you show up, your message, and how are you going to find these people?
yeah. 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 For sure. So at this point, most of the people that are probably watching this are more on the entrepreneur side. Could be wrong, but so what sort of products do you have? What's your core offering for people if they're interested in um solving that problem? Because
Right.
we're help,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we need help. And so the handout that I'm offering through your special event is how to play your networking game to win. So I made it a game for myself because it was agony for me to go to networking events. Of course, I didn't know quite what I was doing. So so you have I thought about it as a game, which helped me then.
Yeah, make it
Um,
fun.
yes,
Try to make it fun.
I had to make it fun and I had to think, who am I here to help rather than focusing on me? Because when I focused on me, all the wheels fell off. So I focused on who am I here to help? So that helped with conversation. And so I'll be anyone who signs up for my PDF on Play Your Networking Game to Win. It's a secret. I'm going to offer a series of 3 mini seminars on how to do small talk. That was such an
Yeah.
agony for me. You know, how to build those business connections and how to follow up. What's a good way to follow up so that people aren't feeling like you're trying to sell them something, right? There's an art to networking. It's a real science and an art. And when you begin to put these processes into place, your business will expand. But it takes work. It takes thinking about these things. And I offer a 6-week program called play your networking game
Right.
and go through the whole process with people. I actually walk them through my book, which is the steps on what to pay attention to, because I learned a lot when I was networking and paying attention to what was going on here. So I have notebooks full of notes. What I noticed was that people would talk and the person they were talking to was dropping hints about what they needed, but the person
Wasn't hearing.
didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Didn't absolutely hear it. And I thought, wow, you need to learn how to pay attention to the words people are using. Like it was a printer talking with someone and the person said, I need a flyer and I need it really fast. And the printer said to the person, oh, come into the office and we'll talk about, and it was kind of leisure. And the guy who needed the flyer went and talked with another person who was a printer. And that person said, come with me right after the meeting. I'll get them done for you in 10 minutes. Guess who
Sold.
got the
Yeah.
guess who got
Sold.
the business? Right? So that sparked my path down this. What does it mean to pay attention? And if you don't pay, people will tell you all kinds of things if you pay attention, like when their birthday is. So I immediately write it down. There have been people that I've been sending a birthday card to for 15 years and they can't figure out how come I know their birthday. They told me. They dropped a hint,
Right.
right?
Right.
Or their anniversary or something about their kids or, all of that makes for connection. But when you see it as just talk, you're missing out because
Yeah.
there's another layer that you need to pay attention to, or somebody's looking for information on something. Man, I can go and I get them either a book, an article, something.
Yeah.
And when you start paying attention at a different level, it changes how you build relationships. I'll never forget this one vice president. I forget how come I was in conversation with him, but anyway, he said, I want information on this. And he was the vice president of sales. Well, I hopped on that, got him a couple of books, a couple of articles, and I highlighted in the articles what to read. He became a client. I listened. I
Yeah.
listened to him.
Yeah.
So he said to me, I don't read. He called me and he thanked me for the articles and the books. He says, I don't read, but
You highlighted what,
he
yeah.
said, I read what you highlighted and it made such a difference. And he said, and I walk around with one of the books that you gave me and I put it in front of me in meetings. He said, and I noticed several people have bought the book too and are reading it.
Oh, that's
So
cute.
he said, it made me look like a superstar. So thanks. So it was a funny story, but we're still friends today. We're
Right.
still friends today. And this happened many years ago. But when you learn to do these things, it makes a huge difference in how you approach your business and your clients.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love like how you've explained this too, because, for me, being pretty introverted, even though I'm like online is safe for me, that feels very comfy. But going to a networking event, I think I've probably done 3 my entire life.
Yes.
But yet listening to you talk about it, it's like, okay, that, I can see how that could be done, even if, I think networking gets the rap that, oh, you have to be an introvert to do that. And I'm not an
Yeah.
introvert, so I can't do that, right? Or I'm not an extrovert, so yeah, I can't do that.
Extrovert.
I had that backwards. But there's ways, right? And in a
Yes.
way, I think this could be my own take, but if you lean towards being introverted, I think we tend to listen more than we talk.
Being
And
introverted is better
so
than being extroverted, actually.
a little superpower if we just learn how to use it.
Yes. Yes. Because extroverts are all about them. and they come in and they're talking and they're shining and they want all the attention. Introverts don't do that.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier for people to approach you,
Mhm.
right? So let me tell you, I'm like 9 on a scale of 1 to 10.
So if you can do it, anybody can do it, right?
Yes. I mean, there were times when I would get to a networking event and I was there only because I had to build my business.
Right.
I didn't have $1 million budget to
Right.
advertise, right? And I can remember sitting in my car thinking, I'm tired. I'd rather go home. It looks crowded. I think I'll go home. And then saying to myself, if I was my own coach, what would I say to myself? Get out of the
The
car.
car.
And I remember distinctly doing that one time, and I got my biggest client.
Yeah.
You know, if I had not gone in, that I had that client for 10 years. So, you know, it's like lesson. You know, there's something waiting for you there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that doesn't happen at every networking event thing, you know, it's like too bad.
Unfortunately,
But
but yeah.
yeah, yeah. But if you never go, you're never going to get that
Yeah.
exposure, that experience, people knowing you, right?
Yep.
So, it's building a skill. And I think online, we need to do that as well. Because I know there are times when I think I signed up for something and like, oh, I'm gonna go do something else.
Mhm.
It's much easier to do because I haven't driven there. You know,
Right.
but I think too, it's easy online for me to get distracted and miss things that people say. So you have to bring the same kind of attention, you know, and I think
Mhm.
the online is tiring too. You know, our brains are not wired to be online so much. So I think the Zoom fatigue is really a thing, but there are you can apply the same principles to online as in person.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, to follow up. Do we pay attention to what people are saying? You know, so um, it takes attention. It takes
Yeah.
attention.
Awesome. Well, so many good nuggets in this little conversation we've had. Thanks for hopping on. So for everybody that's listening, depending on where you're watching this video, if you're on YouTube, the link to Lorraine's gift is going to be down below in the description area. Make sure you sign up for that. You've got nothing to lose and lots to gain. Maybe a 10-year client, right?
Yeah, there you go.
And if you're seeing the video as part of the giveaway event, the link will be also below, but in the event page. So thanks so much for chatting with us. This was fun and lots of good info for people. So thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, and we'll see everybody on the next spotlight.
Bye-bye.